Hi, welcome to part 4 of Aphantasia and Beyond. If you have not seen parts 1, 2, and 3, I highly recommend you do so, as it will add context to what we're talking about here. You can find links to all 5 parts of this series in the description below. Here in part 4, we will discuss how aphantasia plays a role in falling asleep and dreams, and we also will talk about storage, how our mind stores information. What do you do to fall asleep?
Stop watching whatever I'm watching and then fall asleep.
Close my eyes, turn my head in such a way that my mouth doesn't fall open if I can.
Most of the time it happens naturally, but sometimes I just have to start thinking of, a blank sheet of paper, usually dark, and that usually gets me going off into dreamland.
I turn on the TV show I've seen 100 times because I can close my eyes and watch the show and listen to the sound, but I've got the MASH episode playing in my head. I don't have to look at the TV. I can just listen to it and go to sleep.
I have to imagine blankness. Sometimes that's the only way I can get to sleep, is just to make myself think of nothing.
Okay, so we've moved to a lot of places. We've lived in a lot of houses. And so one of the things that I do to try to get my mind off of the thoughts that just run through my head is I walk through all the houses that we've lived in, right? So like the house in Utah we lived in, the house in Ohio that we lived in Tennessee and Indiana and Washington, and our apartments we moved into when we were first married. And I do it in order. In Ohio, you walk to the front door, the steps are right there, you go upstairs to the bathroom at the top of the stairs, to the right, the little girl's room, right? And I walk through every single room in my head, because sometimes it's enough to occupy it's like a thoughtless thing, right? Like I don't have to worry. It's not a worrying thing. It's not like I'm worrying about the kids, or I'm worrying about money, or I'm worrying about my job or anything. It's a very rote thing, so that sometimes it occupies my brain enough that it will shut it off and I'll fall asleep.
How vivid are your dreams?
They're extremely real.
I'm thinking because now I see people, and I see houses and furniture and rivers and yeah.
They can be quite vivid. Obviously, I can't remember a lot of them. That's, I imagine, pretty common. But in the moment, they can be quite vivid, and I have to, at some point, tell myself, no, wait, this is not really happening. I've not just crashed my car. I'm not going to be late to school. This is just a dream.
While I'm dreaming, I feel like they're real, but I still wouldn't use the word vivid, because to me that means you're like seeing something, where I'm never really seeing anything.
I usually remember at least something about them. I wake up and I feel emotion. Like if I'm in the middle of something, they're vivid enough that I'm feeling a lot of emotion from them. So whether it's scared or happy or whatever.
It's more of like, I would say it's more of like telling a story and not seeing the story, but someone telling you the story. So no, there's no visual, but it's like the storytelling.
Usually pretty vivid, I guess. It can be difficult in the dream to distinguish dream from reality, regardless of how absurd it is. I think that's normal, but I mean, there really aren't any rules, I don't think. I told you that when I have imagery, it's based on things I've seen before. That's not necessarily true when I'm dreaming. You can have creatures that don't exist, or the things you've never seen before. Certainly there are things that are in reality that enter my dreams, but there's no rules in my dreams. So you could very well have something that doesn't exist in my dreams, that doesn't exist in real life, that I've never seen before.
Are your dreams in color?
Yes.
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 I'm trying to recall a dream. I don't remember colors. I like shades maybe, but like a bad dream is going to be dark and a good dream will be more light. I would say there's shades, but there's no like distinguishable, like, you know, oh, Shane was wearing a red shirt in my dream last night. Like, no.
Again, I can't even tell. Like they're so not in that way that they're not anything. Like they're not color, they're not black and white. I can't tell what they are.
See, I think I do see things in my dreams, and I think they are in color. I can see rooms and people, and if I'm not seeing colors, I'm recognizing that there is color, and I believe I'm seeing color. It's probably not vivid technicolor, but yeah, I believe I have some ability to see those things in my mind in dreams.
How would you describe how your mind stores information?
I don't quite know how to answer that.
I don't know. I feel like it's more like my desk. Like my desk is messy, but I know where everything is. And that's kind of how my mind is.
It's the same way as my memories. Bits here, bits there. Throwing an odd thing here. Oh yeah, now this. Kind of what I'm doing with this interview. Oh, wait a minute. Now that I think about it, it's unorganized.
I usually have to link it to like a physical thing in the real world to like remember stuff. You know, if I need to remember to do something tomorrow morning, but I'm already in bed and I want to go to bed, I'll just grab something out of my nightstand and chuck it on the floor by the door. And then when I see that the next morning, I go, you mean to do this.
I would probably describe it as video clips, right? They're clips and pieces scattered all around. It looks more like my desk, right? Where there's the pile over here that needs to be done, and a pile over there and a pile over here. And I know that there's a memory here somewhere. I just don't know where that is.
A very elaborate file system, searchable by keywords. If the keywords are not right, I am not going to know what you're talking about. Again, going back to the conversation with my wife, she'll say, remember such and such and such and such, and say, oh, no, and then she might say finally one right thing, and like, oh, you mean that thing? Yes. See, I had it stored under what you just said, not this other stuff.
It goes into a void, and I hope I can pull it back out when I need it. Like, even the concept of storing something in my mind sounds foreign to me, because there's no space I associate with my mind. Before I knew that people could actually picture things, and like, you know, they would build like these mansions to store all of their memories and stuff in. Before I learned about any of that, I thought phrases like search your mind were just a figure of speech that were essentially meaningless. Yeah. You know, it was like, well, you search for something in real life, so just search your mind, you know? I didn't realize that people would actually like search their mind space. Yeah, that's crazy.
It's a big void. There's no way I can search my mind. It either comes to me or it doesn't.
I am constantly flitting from one thing to another, to another, to another. So I have a hard time slowing my brain down enough to store information. I store my information in a planner. I can't do it in my mind. I am a visual person, and like if I can sit somewhere and take notes, or even when I'm working with my students, if I say, oh, great job, you got 100% on the test, let me bring you a soda, what kind of soda do you want? If I don't write that down in my planner, it will not happen. And I tell my students that day one, like if I tell you something, you better make sure I write it down, because it won't happen if I don't.
I imagine it as like a long-term storage and a short-term storage process. And I think a lot of the storage gets dumped. Like, I don't remember a lot of things.
It's a mess, dude. It's just a mess. I mean, I think my physical world kind of resembles my mind, where you have stuff all over the place, and I've got these boxes of junk and piles of paper, but I kind of know what's in them. And like, if you need a particular thing, I know where to find it. I know which pile it's in. If my wife had to go find the memory for me in my head, oh, she would kill me. She'd be like, how do you live like this? Which is, incidentally, something she actually says in real life. my mind's a mess. Yeah, I have no skill or organization or whatever.
Are there different rooms or compartments in your mind?
I'd say piles. Piles of stuff in different places.
No, I think it's all just kind of more vague. If I think of having memories, I just think of them as coming from somewhere in there.
I think I have an open floor plan with just crap everywhere.
You know, it's more of a, well, as an example, when I use AutoCAD, I do a lot of sketches and drawings and things like that in AutoCAD. And rather than opening several files for several different jobs, it's a lot easier for me to just, AutoCAD workspace is almost endless. You can draw something as big as you want, and then you draw it to scale. So I just keep adding to the drawing. So one of my guys will come in to me and say, hey, I need a dimension for this stair. And I've got 50, 60 different things on this drawing, and I know where on that drawing it is, and I can just zoom into that part of the drawing and I can look at that stair. That's kind of how my brain is, when everything's just there. And you want to ask me about the railroad tracks and the snake, I just zoom into that part of my pile and extract it.
No. What would that even be like? Rooms or compartments? Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. All the stuff that you're going to need for long-term storage, you put in one room, and your stuff that you're going to need immediately, bank accounts and phone numbers and that kind of stuff, you store in a place where you can easily access it in your mind.
Yeah, I would definitely say so. Yeah. So I imagine I have like three bins, and there's like a long-term storage. Like when I teach piano, I have to repeat all that stuff, and I know how to find middle C, and I know how to play this chord, da 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 da. And then there's like the other, like my social security number, I guess, like little things like I can store knowledge or information in, but I think a lot of things gets dumped. It goes through a process of things like, oh, that should be, that's a need to know thing. I need to know it. And so there is a conscious effort that goes in that bin because I need to know that, and I am going to have to recall that, and then there's little short-term things that I need to know for a little while, and then they get dumped out. And then there's things that don't even make it, that's the daily trash that gets dumped out every day. So whether you call it a filing cabinet or a bin and a trash can, it's those three things.
There's my professional interests of physics. That would be probably a room, very large one. There's the family room, there's the food room. So yeah, I guess you could say that there's also a whole lot of doors and connections between them. The best way to describe it is in looking at the files on your computer. So there may be a main family folder, and then you click on that, and there might be folders for each individual. Or you can also sort, right? You can sort by event or by time or place. My best description of what would be happening would be, I just click through a bunch of, all right, open brother's wedding, open the dinner that happened, open whatever, and pull out the video or picture. It's kind of like the internet, right? You click on one thing, then you click on the next thing, click on the next thing. Next thing you know, you're neck deep in cat videos.
Okay, we made it. That's the end of part 4. Click this link to continue on to part 5, the final part, where we wrap things up with overall descriptions and some other interesting things that we discovered along the way. Find links to all 5 parts of the series in the description below.